Hello, my friends, and welcome to MSP Unplugged. I'm Rick Smith, your host for today. This is the place to learn how to run your IT service business, whether you're a one-person shop or leading a team for the journey. This is the place for you. Let me introduce my co-host, a man who really needs no introduction, Chicago's own Mr. Paco LeBron. How are you, sir?
Oh, you know what I like to say, Mr. Smith, better than good, better than most.
That's good. That's good. How you enjoying your time out here in Denver?
You know, it's probably, I think, my third or fourth time out here, my second time here in Pax8 Beyond, live at the Gaylord Convention Center. And, you know, I love every moment of it. I love coming to the space. I love coming to the area. Shouldn't drink too much because of the elevation, but that's a whole nother story. But everything is doing well. A lot of great content, a lot of great information, and a lot of great people we've been meeting here. And we'll be introducing our new guest first time on the podcast as well.
Yeah, we're having a great time here. And as Paco said, we've met some great people. We want to introduce our guests here today. This is Jose and Jennifer Santos. They are the co-founders of RadTak Solutions, which is an MSP based in Austin, Texas. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Thank you so much for the invitation.
All right.
Welcome.
How was you here?
Well, for those who don't know, just give us a little history of you guys and how you got started and how RadTak got started.
Okay, yeah. Well, my name is Jennifer. I'm, as he said, one of the owners of RadTak. We moved to Austin 3 years ago, but we started our MSP 2.5 years ago. So I started my career I wanted to become a doctor, so it was completely different in this industry. But while I was going to school, I was working for a tech company, so that's what I do like it. But it started a dream. We started a dream to become to be the owners of a business as a family. So it's when we decided to start the MSP in Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my case, I grew up with a computer at home from those 386 processor computers from IBM, and I was lucky enough to have family members who allowed me to use it and play with it and see what it was, that they had inside. So I had always that, drive to learn about the technology and the computers and what's the next game or whatever was coming up. So I kept kept that like a computer near to me all the time. And then I moved from Venezuela, originally from Venezuela. I moved to the United States 20 plus years ago. And I was able to find, coming to that time where they had the banking problem. So Wachovia was going out of business and Wells Fargo was buying it. So I had like no knowledge and I didn't speak much English, but I was taking old computers and putting new computers. And after that job, I got another job and I was able to get into like the IT world to the point where I was doing infrastructure support for a company called Tesla and Applied Materials. And that gave me a great opportunity because they were just starting that factory back in Fremont, California. So we had a budget and we could test different things and try new things. So it was a great experience that helped me a lot. And then we decided, had this side job, a side hustle of help me with my computer, my friend, whatever. And then we moved to Austin, and it was the opportunity for us to start a new business. So that's why, it's been a couple of years only, but we're just excited to get into this industry and this market.
It's a great story, and it really just goes to the entrepreneurial sense. And really, I just heard you say that you were going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And now you're in tech.
Yes.
From being smart to hanging out with nerds.
Yes. I was an executive assistant for Intel and Applied Materials while I was pursuing my biology and my pre-med. And then when he was starting doing side businesses as an MSP, just as a side job, then I started to see it. Okay, this can be our business. So that's when we decided just to move to Austin and start the MSP. Yeah.
That's awesome. I just think it's a great story, and it's great that the two of you, because I know this doesn't happen in a lot of places, that the two of you can work together in an industry as a couple. That there creates some great challenges, but that's also, you start out, you have that tremendous level of trust and belief in each other, which helps any business grow. And so I just think it's a great story there. Let me ask this. As a partnership, how do you guys divide up, or who does what? Like, you do the tech, she does the billing, or how's it work?
I do all the operational stuff, and then he do all the tech. He deals with all the engineers and all that. So that's how we balance the work. Yes, and for us it's great just to be on the same boat, because as parents and everything, we know if not, then I will be alone with the kids, and then
Yeah.
what are you doing? You're working too much. So we're on the same page. So it's better for us.
We, at the beginning, we were doubting that, because you usually have like an 8-hour work schedule, and you get home and you spend some time with the kids and wife, and then you go back to work, right? But spending like all the time, we didn't know if it was gonna work, but ended up working. Like we got used to it, like all the time. We're always in the same place, the same customers. So we're still home. We're still sharing our passion or the dream of getting this MSP to work to the size that we want it to work and everything. So it's super for us. It works great. Yeah, enjoying it.
And I don't know, Paco, I know you and I know about these struggles of starting out. You're by yourself, and you're doing everything, and then you gotta find someone enough you trust to let in. First of all, having the courage to let someone else in to do it. But I'm sure you can speak to that experience and then how it gets to grow like that.
I will say that so it's very interesting. So my future wife, she is very involved in the MSP Unplugged business, planning our event this year. And so being her client has really proven to be a interesting yet dynamic of what we have. And being of Latino descent, there is a lot of unbarriers in the home to understand that you are speaking to client and vendor versus your loved one. And so that was a little bit difficult to kind of go through in the beginning, but I think working from home and being able to run through this process, I think COVID, the shelter in place that occurred in the US really helped with a lot of that, because you had the ability to separate work from home. And we did put things in together, but that kind of prepped us from being together all the time. And so that was very interesting. And so she was actually working in a Fortune 500 company in the banking industry, then a $5 million nonprofit, heading up their marketing director, being the director and heading up their marketing. And so when she started her own business, being the marketing strategist and kind of diving into this world, I was able to then introduce her into the entrepreneurial world. And so we just have this great synergy. And as you mentioned, Rick, you really have to find that person that understands that, there's this concept of, it's entrepreneur and they're kind of, self-made and it's going to be a great opportunity. But what they don't understand, it's all the time, every time, because we are just wired differently. We are not all about the catch. We're about the hunt. We're all about really trying to move on. We're insatiable. And so it takes a lot from a partner to really learn about that and really be about that, because I even read on one of the social media videos, they said, if you want someone that's not going to be like that, marry someone in finance to be well off. But other than that, an entrepreneur is not who you want. So yes, it does take trust. It takes a lot of structure. It takes a lot of communication. And the communication is not just what you assume the communication will be, it's actual words and explaining what you meant by them versus that. But obviously you all probably know very much well, as like I have learned over the last several 8 years. So it's definitely just a much of a growth portion of not only the business, but as a relationship and partnership as you kind of move forward.
Sure. A lot of time management.
Yeah. And it's good though. I would imagine that level of trust, that when you run a business and you have every business owner has flaws, has shortcomings, and they always need someone to help them pick up where that's what a partnership is, right? In a marriage, in a business relationship, anything, there's one person who we pick up for each other. Where you're weak, I'm stronger, or vice versa, and you need to be picked up or whatever, and that's how it works. So so I think it's always a great thing. We do see come across sometimes some husband and wife teams, and it's usually one runs the technology and one runs the operation, because usually it happens that for most times the guy doesn't really care much about the business side of it, and he wants to do the tech, and but that works the other way too. So I don't want to sound that it can only be one way, because there's a lot of smart techs out there who are female. But so no offense to anyone. But I want to ask you guys.
Don't get us canceled, Rick.
Sorry?
Don't get us canceled.
Yeah, I know. Right? But I wanted to ask you guys, as you've been growing your business, have you been focusing on a particular niche, or just what has been your strategy? And I guess for our listeners out there too, how did you come to that?
Yeah, I think I can take that one. Manufacturing, I think, is our niche. Specifically, as I was saying, like I work a lot of years in the industry of manufacturing and supporting the systems and everything that has to be in place. Although, to your point, I'm not the organized one in that relationship. But once you do manufacturing, you have to, everything's a process. So that's kind of the only side that I have of being organized, because we have companies that one of our clients, they just make furniture, and they have lines of production, and you see how everything has to go in an order, and how you can always help in introducing technology that they didn't know anything about, because that sometimes is our role, right? They've been doing business a certain way for so many years, they don't know about new technologies, and then we have to come up, tell them, hey, there's this tool that can save you this much time or automate this task. So that's kind of the main industry that we work with. Okay. Although we got referred to a bank, and we've been working with other type of clients, and it has been really hard to kind of stay in one line. But that's our goal at some point, to be big enough where we can say we're just going to take this type of clients. But that's kind of the type of clients that we're always looking for.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and I guess the other thing I wanted to talk about, we're here in at Pax8. We've had a lot of announcements, learned a lot of things, and I'm blown away by some of the things we've seen, we've heard. And one of the big discussions, particularly yesterday, was the discussion on AI, right? Mm-hmm. And I know, as you were talking about working with manufacturing, I know that there's a lot of, in some of the industries, there's a lot of robotics being
Correct.
added. So what is you guys' opinion on AI, and how are you embracing it going forward?
Yeah, well, I would say we had a long conversation after that session, because from one side we were thinking, like, what's going to happen to us humans? Because the way he was explaining, like, within not even a decade from now, there's going to be a lot of humanoid robots doing a lot of what we are already doing, right? And then we were just in another session that we're talking about automation. And then one of the reasons why you should automate is because you need less people to work at your company. So you always have those two together: automation, AI, less people. You don't need people anymore. So it was really interesting to hear what they're forecasting for AI and in the industry. And I think it's going to take some time for the industry to understand this, and for us as MSPs to be able to introduce them to this new era, in my opinion, of AI. I think some people that learn how to use ChatGPT, some of us thought, okay, we're using AI, we are already in the AI, but it's just the beginning of it. Like Copilot coming up, and most of us use Microsoft products. Copilot is answering your questions and helping you answer emails and all that stuff. And we might think, okay, so we're already in AI. But the truth is that it's just the beginning. AI is going to get to the point where, you can probably sit and rest and let them do most of the stuff. Who knows? But more than anything, I think as a company, we are excited. Mm-hmm. We are excited to see what's coming up, and, eager to learn and be able to implement whatever is coming up in the AI industry.
Yeah, we had a discussion about that yesterday, Paco. We talked about, about AI and its impact that it's going to have on the industry, and again, how we first of all embrace it, and how we prepare for it. And speaking of AI too, we talked. We know you guys are super ops users, correct?
Yes.
And and using their super ops approach, and how they're using AI in the in their platform, and where they're looking to go with it. How are you guys finding super ops and finding And I guess here's another question. This is not really to promote super ops, but this is a question. I had a conversation with an MSP yesterday about choosing tools or choosing an RMM. So how did you guys come about choosing super ops software?
Well, we were working with other companies, of course, and since we're new, 2 years and a half, we got to use the super ops, and in the operational side, for me, it was easier. It was a platform very easy to use and for the customer to use. And the technical side, I think it's just...
Since they have this AI kind of engine in it, we were able to help create and close tickets and let super ops do a lot of work for us. I know we're not trying to talk about super apps too much, but we just love it. The support that they have, helping us implement a lot of these AI thing, into our, not say production, but our processes throughout the day has just been very instrumental for us. So
And
we're
also
just
the
excited.
community they have, the community. For me as a woman in tech and Latina as well, they have a amazing community for us. A lot of support. So for me, it was just great to partner with them.
Great. Paco, you looking over there smiling at me. You look excited over there.
Super ops, AI, or all in between. What would you like me to talk about? No, but I think on a serious note, I think that the ability of really leaning into AI and understanding it as a platform or as a premise. And I think, as Rick, we talked about, when everyone talks about in our industry AI, the immediate thought is either ChatGPT, Copilot, or Gemini. And, we have so many other third-party vendors that are either implementing these tools in their own set of tools, or there are those of us that are looking out for other independent companies that are creating certain AI documentations, AI tools, and creating our own AI platform offering to certain verticals.
Yeah.
And so, I think we're going to get to a point now where there will be AI integrations to AI, similar that we have integrations of systems to systems. And so being able to be vertical specific, or even to the point of size specific of a business you're serving to, it's always very important to understand that as you're adopting some of these solutions, you think of your size client in mind. I think a lot of us, depending on size, will hear a lot of the marketing speak, and as when we spoke with Nick Ross on the other day, that the marketing of how these AI solutions work out of the box are oftentimes not what it is, and there's a little bit of work and dedication that you have to put in place of it. So I think it's really important to understand that you really need to be able to leverage not only these systems in your own way, but also understand that there are other opportunities for you that may not even be discussed to create your own solutions, so you can provide that AI expertise, that AI advisor, this moving from service provider to strategic advisor and advising on businesses specifically. So I'm a big proponent on verticals and niches and industries, but I know that there are others that prefer to focus on size because the ability to help support is more important than the industry that they're involved with. But there are arguments for both sides, but I think from those sides, and it's including in the implementation of AI inside of super apps, has been very important, especially with the announcement now of Vision X, being able to help elevate a lot of those things by business looking into what's their trajectory or what their future is in the future for running the business.
Yeah, and I wanted to add, AI topic brings a lot of drama, in my opinion, that sometimes when we don't understand something, we try to, see it with what we know of it.
Right.
So a lot of people commenting on AI, but they don't even, like most of us, we don't even know how it works or what it is. So we have people like a couple of days ago or yesterday, Apple announced Apple Intelligence, and then Elon Musk responding like, if you have an Apple device, you will not be able to get into any of my companies, and we're going to remove your devices, because if they're implementing OpenAI into operating system of the devices, then we're just all compromised. So let's not use it. And then that Elon Musk was part of the foundation of ChatGPT and everything. So I think that for the public in general, that's just more drama. Like what's happening? But I think if we want to have an educated opinion on something, we're going to have to read more about it and what it does and what is it that we're actually risking.
Yeah.
And I think when we do that as an industry, we will be able to educate our clients as well on what it is, so that they might be able to probably understand and change probably their opinion on it. Because people are saying, it's just the Antichrist that is coming and it's coming through, because we don't know much about it.
Right.
So I think we, as an industry, we need to learn and about it, and so that we can implement it and adopt it properly.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to understand too that, like you said, the uneducated tend to form opinions that oftentimes either guide a direction of that product, that service, etc. And especially if they happen to have a following, it kind of goes even further, right? And it's the same thing I talk about multiple times is there are a lot of people that speak opinions as facts, and that's what drives me nuts on trying to on that situation. But I think the really big opportunity in regards to AI and really focusing, like in that example you mentioned with Elon Musk and the Apple Intelligence, it's the same thing when cameras were added to phones, and now government facilities were basically stating, well, you cannot bring your phone in, or they got to be locked in. But then everything started to get adjusted, everything started to get understanding, and I think we are in those early stages of AI, because quite frankly, I think a majority of everyone is using AI as the updated, more faster, more structured version of a search engine.
Correct.
Like that's really what they're using it for, and not understanding what the true abilities of a model language model. And for some of us who haven't even been exposed to some of those things, once someone kind of sheds light and really focus on what it could do, just blows your mind away. Like, for us internally, we've been really diving into the Microsoft ecosystem and utilizing Power Automate more than Zapier, and leveraging Copilot on certain automations that we're running, and where there's failures, it's helping understand that a little bit more and keeping in that ecosystem. So there are so many things that there are possibilities, and I'm sure there's a lot more smarter people than myself that are really leveraging these technologies. But it just tells you that there's multiple ways to utilize certain things, and it's always open. It's always great to be an open mind and hearing what those solutions are, because you just never know what can improve your services, or in this case for an MSP, providing AI services to a client to help them expand, because that's what they're asking for. I'll give you an example. We have a lot of legal clients, and they have been asking to utilize Copilot because it's productive, it's whatever, etc. And so what we've done is saying, maybe you probably don't need that. We can enable it, but I think you need to understand that your data needs to be structured a little bit better. You need to do things. Why don't we put you on an AI platform like TurboDocs? And TurboDocs will help generate some of these things, alleviate some of those options. It's not Copilot, but it is a form of AI. There's a service that we're working to bundle into other things to say, hey, legal firm, we believe we can be productive and provide you and save you 25% of billable hours in your first 90 days, right? Being able to have something like that in place, because I heard this over in another podcast, MSP Camp, No Fluff Marketing, with Andrew Moon, saying that he was providing those guarantees because they had those processes down. And so I want to switch gears a little bit from AI and really dive more into processes, right? I think it's very important to understand that an MSP is only as good as their process and their documentation. Right. And so I was curious to know, for your business, is your team remote? Are they all located in Texas? And from that question, how have you worked on the processes and documentation so that it is accessible for everyone to understand, so that there is the right hand or the left hand can talk to the right hand as you provide those value and services to your clients?
Yeah, I would say that we have 2 on-site people in Austin, and then we have remote people, engineers, and I've always thought like the ticketing system is crucial for this, and having a knowledge base that you can always refer to, and several vendors that we had, and we currently, we recently adopted super apps a few months ago, I think about 4 months ago. We're just migrating everything, because we really think that unless you have all the processes in place, and then a knowledge base that is good for the technicians, then we're gonna repeat the same troubleshooting over and over, trying to figure things out. While if you have the proper structure, then you save a lot of time. So we're excited with super apps, because they also have playbooks. So if you see the same ticket, that it's always the same resolution, that you can set up something so that it resolves itself. So
sure.
So it for us, it's just working amazing. I cannot say enough about super apps, but yeah, it's just helping in being that agent that is unifying all our brains. We have 2 engineers in the UK, and they have their profiles, and so they're using putting all the information in super apps so that we can all be on the same page. And we have our meetings that communication everywhere that you have it, there's never not enough you always need to communicate as much as you can. So we have super apps also as a way of communicating the status of everything that we're working on.
Very cool. Very good. Now, Jennifer, as far as operations standpoint, have you found that it was so much, was it more the tools that were an issue to try and keep everybody on the same page, or was it the processes that needed to be built so that the tools can help with and really keep the company flowing in all aspects, whether it's finance, operational efficiency, even down to like sales and marketing for inbound and how to adhere to some of those prospects and clients? What have you found that you discovered, I wouldn't say issue, but an opportunity to improve, and how has that kind of helped the business kind of move forward and its company's growth?
And so I think both are needed. I mean, the processes and a great tool, you need both. As I was mentioning, I was in another career, so I had to learn all this industry first, and I do want to know the processes first, and then try to find the right tool for us as a company. So in these 2 years, we were in that journey of writing everything, all processes, and using now the tool we're using with SuperOps to implement that. So
Your report very simple.
Rick, when it comes to processes, obviously this has been a never-ending thing that we chase for efficiency and really trying to focus on. What are some of the things that you've been implementing now that you've moved over and trying to consolidate a lot of your tools? Has this become easier for you? Has this become something where you're still trying to figure out what tool is going to fit best? What are some of the things that you've started to implement now to at least make it a little bit easier as you continue your path of growth and really trying to bring on people to help alleviate some of the duties that you're doing?
See, I look at it twofold. One, when I finally started to focus on the processes and really honed in on where we were going and what we needed to do, it told me where the holes were, right? I then learned what I needed, because you have this vision of, oh, I have all of these things. And then when you finally lay it out, you realize that, hey, I'm missing this, I'm missing that. And knowing what you're missing and then going searching for that, as opposed to someone else telling you, that's a vendor telling you, this is going to do this for you, it's going to fix this problem, fix that problem. It flips it on its head. You know what you're going out looking for, as opposed to someone telling you what you need. And I think that has been the most important lesson I've learned. If I could say 2023, 2024 has taught me something, that has been what it is. I've realized now what holes I need to fill. So as I'm bringing in more people, as I'm looking to expand my business, I know where now I need to fill those slots, right? I know where I'm looking at. And, and also, again, it goes back to this thing I started with. I've learned to accept where I'm not strong. Yeah. So, and I'm looking to fill those gaps, right? But the whole having a process, and it is kind of, I don't want to say embarrassing, but it's kind of a shade that I've been doing this for so long. But then when I finally dig into it, I realize I've been putting a lot of effort in places I didn't need to, right? And I think that's what having, and I tell this to anybody starting or anybody struggling or anybody moving along, want to move to the next level, process is probably the most important thing. And I'm going to say this, I'll give him credit. He's going to over there smile with his big cheeks over there, but Paco has pushed that on me a lot, and I've resisted it. I said, oh, I got it, because the business was all in my head, right? And it wasn't out. And I finally put it on paper and put it someplace where it can be seen, and I can actually see it. And now I see. You can see
the light.
Wow, it's like really getting good glasses, and you can see what's in front of you finally. So, for me personally, I think that has been the biggest lesson I've learned. Because again, I say this all the time. No offense, Jose. The tech is easy. It's the rest of the stuff that we got to do that really makes.
So to carry on that conversation, Rick, and I think we'll leave this as our last question for the episode, because we could be talking forever, and we definitely have to have you back to learn a little bit more in what you're doing. And I'll ask both you, Jose and Jennifer, what do you believe currently is your current investment in the business that you're trying to improve on or carry the growth? Is it looking into more of onboarding more services? Are you looking to update your operational efficiency? What is your current goals of the company right now that you're really putting all your efforts in to improve right now?
Personally, my goal was to get more clients, because I wanted to see more clients. But my wife kept telling me, "Hey, we're not prepared for more clients. Hey, you don't have everything in place for more clients. How do you want to bring more clients in So, like you said, I keep everything in my head. I think everything works like that, but it doesn't work. So we stopped trying to invest into that direction of getting more clients now, and more into let's put everything in a process in place. So we feel comfortable. If anybody calls, if we have a person that can become our client, we have a process for them to go through, and not like, oh, okay, yeah, so you already signed, so, well, one of our techs is going to call you, and thank you very much. We'll expect the next payment next month. It doesn't work like that. So we're investing into our, putting a structure into everything that we do, and documenting everything.
And education as well, like events like this, educating ourselves, getting mentors that were telling us, especially me, don't make the same mistakes. So do the processes. So the first year I got into the MSP, someone told me you have to write everything.
Yeah.
And that was Nancy. So I learned that, and just keep it in my mind. Don't repeat the same mistakes, and invest in education, educating ourselves, and then have the right tool. Because then when you're new, a lot of tools, a lot of people come to you, and you want to buy everything, and then you get. It's just overwhelming. So for us, it was okay. We can't just buy everything, or we just write a process, and then what is it that we need right now as a business, new business, not buying everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will give you, for kind of my lasting words here, is that exactly like you say, oftentimes it is overwhelming because you have so much information in your mind. There's so much you want to do. And I learned this back when I used to work in corporate, where if you write these things down, as you mentioned, and not typing it, actually get a notebook. Yes, paper still exists, folks. Get a piece of paper, get a pencil. I'll maybe slide it to you with a stylus and a tablet, maybe an Apple Pencil if you're on an iPad. But physically writing it down gives permission to your brain, and will let you know that you now have a place that it's stored, and it gives permission to the brain to release it. And you will find that you're being overwhelmed, and the anxiety will start to slow down a little bit, especially if you're up at night and you just don't know what you're gonna, and you got so much that you got to plan for. I have found that doing this often does alleviate those. I'll leave you with that tip, and those are my lasting words for this episode, Mr. Smith.
Well, those are good lasting words. We want to thank you guys again for stopping in. Is there anything else like you think we haven't talked about, or something you'd like to say to the audience before we sign off here?
Yeah.
No, I really appreciate the opportunity and all the questions and sharing all this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, we thank you for your time, and we thank you for your insight, and I'm sure it goes to help the community here. Before we sign off, Paco, we got to talk about one more thing here.
And that's TechCon Unplugged.
Yes, sir. That's TechCon Unplugged. That is, I got a script here, but I'm going to go off it a little bit, right? Look at Paco's face. No, but TechCon Unplugged is our annual gathering of IT business owners, right? The event is quickly approaching. Now, we want you to come join like-minded business owners for a weekend packed with resources to help your IT business thrive. Now, the ticket is going to include 25 plus educational sessions, 2 networking events and after-hours entertainment, all expo hall meals, refreshments, and happy hours, automatic interest into generous show raffles and giveaways. What really is going to happen is you're going to walk away with some concrete ideas to take back to help grow your business. Now, I did say I was going to go off script, and I didn't, because I didn't want to get in trouble. But again, as I say all the time, the most important thing that happens at TechCon Unplugged, the reason why I'm a part of it, the reason why Paco's a part of it, and the people who continuously come back is this. It's the conversations that we have that are not necessarily on script, that are just in the hall, where, as we say, Paco, the magic happens, right? But it's those conversations, those friendships, those relationships you build with other MSPs, with vendors who have something to offer you other than just the product, but some ideas and help and how to help grow your business. That's why TechCon Unplugged exists, and that's why we continue to be a part of it.
Yep. So make sure you join us September 12th to the 14th at the Hotel Arundel Preserve in the greater Washington, D.C. area.
That's why we have a script. But we do invite you to come, and you can get your tickets at techconunplugged.com. Now, for that, we're going to wrap up here, and we invite you to tune in every week. We're on watch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged. MSP Unplugged. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, hit the notification button to be known so you can know when a new show is coming out. Now, for those of you who think Paco and I have a face for radio, you can just catch us on, we're in your favorite podcatcher apps. We're on Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So for our guest, De Santos, Paco and I, we want to thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time on MSP Unplugged.